What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news once again, but unfortunately we have some more bad news to talk about in relation to Lonzo Ball and this entire saga that's been going on for around 2 years. Now, I think at this point, with the news I'm going to be discussing, I need to dissect it in 2 points. The Lonzo Ball side and the Chicago Bulls side, because in my opinion, it's going on for a very long time now, and I think it's very important to look at both sides of the spectrum and understand how Bulls fans are thinking one side and Bulls fans are thinking on another side. And I'll discuss all of that in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and Lonzo Ball. Do you think that, again, what do you think about this entire situation? I don't really want to ask a specific question just because you might have so much to say that it doesn't boil down to one question. I will just ask you, what do you think about this Lonzo Ball news? And here is the essential news. It has been rumored and reported, and I think it is going to happen, that Lonzo Ball will be, proceeding with a third medical procedure surgery that could take him out and could potentially be another reevaluation process within 6 months' time. It could potentially be a 6-month recovery process. So, a third surgery for Lonzo Ball, that's the first thing people will notice. More time out for Lonzo Ball, that's the second thing people will notice. And of course, the third thing that people will notice is already how long he's been out for the Chicago Bulls. And people will now begin to ask the question about his entire NBA career. Is his career safe? Is he going to, return at the same level and stuff like that? And I do need to, there's so much to really question and dissect about this. I don't know how long this video will be, but I want to just get as much things as I'm thinking right now out of the way, because this video is not scripted. Things I will forget about, you will mention in the comments most likely, and the things that I will remember, I bring to you in this video. Let me first off by saying this. When it comes to the Lonzo Ball side, this is devastating. Honestly, truly devastating. The fact that he's had so many doctors around him, he's had 2 medical procedures prior to this, and the fact that there's still so many rumors, and I'm guessing it's come to light that this is true, that people don't actually know, including Lonzo Ball himself. What is wrong with Lonzo Ball? In my opinion, it's a disaster. And I know Lonzo is going to remain positive in this instance, but there has to be small doubts in his mind about his future in the NBA. There has to be. It's going to be close to 2.5, 3 years out from playing basketball, even just in your own time. Again, it's awful to think about. And for those people that are not showing any sympathy towards Lonzo Ball and the human side of things, imagine if you had that type of injury. You can't go to work for 3 years. You're not getting paid by your work within 3 years as well. And a lot of places don't have the support in place to help you go to work as well, and for you to get paid, for staying home. Not many jobs, not many governments allow you to do that from different countries across the world. So imagine it from that perspective, and I'm sure you have some sympathy towards Lonzo Ball, even if he is just an NBA player. At the end of the day, for anybody that goes through this type of injury, it sucks. And it sucks for more than just the pain that you feel. It sucks for everything in relation to around that as well. The things that you're going to have to go through, the processes, the rehab, the money you may lose, the work that you're not getting, that other people will get, and the fear that you might lose your job one day. These things will have to come into Lonzo Ball's mind just as much. If I had to suffer an injury like that, it would come into my mind. Thankfully, most of my work comes within the YouTube space. But again, it could be work outside of university. Again, maybe even it's the studies within university, things that could affect my life. These are things that I worry about. These are things that I think of just as much as, of course, thinking about the injury itself. So all the best to Lonzo as per usual. I hope he gets healthy. I hope he can really start to recover from this, and hopefully one day, whether it's with the Bulls or not with the Bulls, he will come back to the NBA and he'll be able to play again, and hopefully it's at a very decent level at least. Not asking for what he was this season or even any other year in the NBA, at least just come back and be a role player, because we've seen people that are out for 2 years, 3 years, it takes them so long and sometimes they never fully recover from it. So again, it sucks to see that from Lonzo Ball, but let's move into the Bulls side of things. Let me start off by saying this one thing. For those people that are saying that we should have a heavy look at our doctors and why we suffer from this all the time, I'll say 2 things about this. One, Of course, I feel like our medical staff should be reevaluated, but that should not just be because of injuries. All of our staff should always be reevaluated from time to time. You have to bring the best in as possible. Championships form from having the best stuff available in all areas. And having one weakness could definitely hurt our chances in competing at the top level, even if it is just, I guess, development staff. It could be anything, and doctors are included in that. But let's not just pretend it's our doctors here. Lonzo Ball has his own doctors. He has his own doctors out in LA. There are so many people that are on this Lonzo Ball situation that have no idea about what's happening with Lonzo Ball. You can't just say it's our doctors. Our doctors might be at fault for Javonte Green. I'll give you that, because I don't think there's any other doctors looking at Javonte Green. But from the stories that we have seen, it is not just our doctors, and I will not sit here and say it's only our doctors to blame. I think there's everybody involved that is responsible for this. So I'm not going to sit here and, I guess, listen to just saying it's only our doctors. It's not only our doctors. And from the very beginning, it wasn't only our doctors. So again, I'll say that much as well. For the past 2 years, you can't tell me that there's only been Chicago Bulls doctors out there. Simple as that. Now, for this, looking at the main Chicago Bulls side of things, I think you need to seriously consider replacing Lonzo Ball. At what point do you have to say, I guess enough is enough in terms of this instance, and you can't wait any longer? Our window for competing is very, very small at the moment. You could go for a rebuild, and for that, you have plenty of time to bring Lonzo Ball back into the fray. But in my opinion, you need to consider trying to replace him right now for next season. I think waiting and waiting and waiting will, again, it could potentially get you nowhere. The risks are too high at this point for the Chicago Bulls. And again, I'm not saying trade Lonzo Ball. At the end of the day, name me a team that would want Lonzo Ball right now. That's the question that I have to ask you. With him not, I guess, potentially playing for the beginning of next season now as well, what's the point? Who's going to want to do that trade? Who's going to want to trade for an injury-prone player, a player that is currently injured? And what are we going to get in return for that that's going to be any good? In my opinion, trading Lonzo Ball won't be the answer, because there won't be many packages available for Lonzo Ball. But that doesn't mean you can't find a way to get a starting quality point guard into this team as we speak right now. And whatever happens with Lonzo Ball, that's great. He can come in, maybe take over that starting point guard role when he's fully healthy, and if he can come back to the Bulls, or he can go to the bench. Whatever the case may be, I don't think we can wait any longer. We clearly need a point guard. We need a good quality point guard, and it won't be Lonzo Ball next season most likely. So I just think in the offseason, you have to be prepared to make these decisions. You have to. And as much as that might sound like disrespectful, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you have to look at it from two perspectives. The NBA is a grueling, ruthless business in many ways. And you have to be at the top of your game. You have to make sure you're at the top of the food chain. You have to make sure you're one of those teams competing, especially with the decisions the Bulls have made to try and compete. So you have to be prepared to I guess, make hard decisions. And this might be the hardest one they have to make. They have to try and consider next season having a good starting quality point guard to start for the Chicago Bulls from the very beginning of the season. I think it's an absolute necessity. And we could deal with the Lonzo Ball situation later. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying getting rid of him. I'm not saying we should waive him either. I'm just saying that if you want to wait for him to come back, that's fine. But don't leave that point guard spot empty until he comes back. Because there's no guarantee he'll be the same player. And there's no guarantee he will even come back at the beginning of next season. He's only being reevaluated in 6 months' time. So, look, I think it is what it is. I think we need to start really thinking about these things. It's not a nice thing to think about. It's not a nice thing to feel. But these are the things that we have to talk about as an organization now, in my humble opinion. And I think fans are really starting to come to that realization as well. No one's saying they hate Lonzo Ball. We all want Lonzo Ball to be here and get better. But it doesn't mean you can leave an open spot in the point guard role empty for another season just to wait for Lonzo Ball. I just think the real world can't work like that, in all honesty. It is what it is. And that's the harsh reality. Something else I will say, if I haven't said it already, is that if there was any time to have the surgery, this is the best time to have it. Because if you think about it, if there is a possibility for Lonzo Ball to return, 6 months of evaluation, it will be around September, early October, at this point where we're speaking now. So if there is a good chance Lonzo Ball will be available to play by next season, having the surgery now is the best idea possible, because it will take you to 6 months' time. It will be around pre-season time. It will be around the beginning of the season time, and it will give him the best possible chance to be ready by next season. But there's still no guarantees. So it sucks. It really does suck, and I hate talking about this. I really, really do. And it's been part of the YouTube life for me. It's been 3 years, and for 2.5 of it, we've been talking about Lonzo Ball being injured, and it just sucks. It really does suck to have that feeling towards your team and towards a player on your team. But you do need to ask these questions. Maybe it is time to think about replacing Lonzo Ball, at least for the start of the season. You need to have someone that's going to be there just in case. Because I don't think Patrick Beverley, as good as he is, should be our starting point guard. I really don't think he should. I don't think guys like Io and Kobe, I think they deserve to start in some games. But if you really want a high-quality point guard next to Zach LaVine, which I feel a lot of people need, I think you need to start thinking about getting one in the offseason. And that might mean losing some other players, I don't know. But we'll wait and see what the Bulls decide to do. I just hope they're smart about this, and that's all I can really say. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.